Alrighty guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be having a little bit of a look of a build that I highly recommend on Lisa, also known as the Hag, also known as the XGF. Hope she's not watching the video. Alright, so this is a pretty much stock standard build that you're going to be able to see on my left hand side that I have. If you look to the far right hand side of the screen, you're going to see my Hag is level 1 prestige 3. Therefore, I don't actually have these perks. I'm in a KYF game, just so you guys can currently see the option of perks that are on the table. Now, this is what I'm going to refer to as the meta build on the Hag. You're going to see a lot of Hags run this, maybe a couple less based on the fact that A, the Hag is a near extinct species. You don't see too many of them anymore. B, Ruin did get a bit of a nerf. Therefore, I can't really say nerf because it works really well with surveillance now. It got a bit of a change, okay? So this is what you would expect to see. Now, the Hag by default can teleport 40 meters. What is her gadget? Her gadget allows her to put what we refer to as a finger painting on the ground, and basically any survivor that walks over this without crouching, so if they hit shift, if they just walk over at default, it'll trigger an animation on the ground, and this illusion of the Hag, a mud clone as they're called, will appear for about 2.5 seconds. You can then hit the control key as the killer, and that'll allow you to teleport to your illusion and become your illusion. The survivor will know you've done that. It makes a sound indicator, and you kind of like, you know, pulsate, so the survivor knows that you took the transformation. That also being said, it only lasts 2.5 seconds after trigger, which can be changed with certain add-ons as well. Looking at the Hag, this is what a lot of this is the basic build, realistically. Now, there's a lot of ways to adjust this build, but we're going to go through it bit by bit. So the Hag has a 24 meter heartbeat, and she can teleport 40 meters. So we're running Modern Abuse to capitalize off the 24 meter heartbeat to reduce it down to 16 meters. Now I have a 16 meter heartbeat and can teleport 40 meters with no add-ons. I've also got Nurse's Calling on here right now. So I have a 40 meter teleport, a 16 meter heartbeat, but I can see you healing 28 meters away. Therefore, there is a 12 meter difference from how far I can see you healing before you hear the smallest of a heartbeat. Now, also looking at this build, we have Ruin to forestall on the game. Now, I don't recommend this anymore based on the fact that Ruin's kind of gone down the drain if you're not stacking it on the correct kind of combo. Now, you could run Ruin and Hornet if you're on a Spirit. You could do something like that, don't get me wrong. Or alternatively, you could run Ruin and Surveillance. You could run Ruin and Corrupt Intervention. There's quite a few options that you could do. Keep in mind, while a generator is sealed, it is confirmed that a generator will not be regressing. Therefore, if I just down Jeff with Surge, and then I pick up Jeff with Thrilling Tremor, the generators that are sealed from Surge will not be regressing at 0.3 per second. So just be mindful of that as well. So the final perk is going to be Make Your Choice. If they trigger a trap and do a hook save, this allows me to teleport back to the hook because I'm outside of 40 meters or outside of 32 meters to be precise for Make Your Choice, to then one hit down the savior. So Make Your Choice is actually still really powerful on the Hag, but we're going to look at a couple of different builds here that I can highly recommend for you to take on the Hag if you're going to step out of your comfort zone. This is what I refer to as the comfort build for the Hag. This is what you'd expect a lot of Hags to run if they didn't want to step out of and run things like Dark Devotion, the more complicated stuff. Now, what are we looking at? Right, we've got Ruin. What could Ruin be integrated with? This is a beginner stall perk. This is a trapping-based killer. She can place 10 traps on the map. She's 110% movement speed, therefore she's currently under a penalty of moving slow. So what do we want to do? We want to stop people from doing gens. If somebody spawns on one side of the Blood Lodge and I spawn on the other side, I cannot get across the Blood Lodge if there's more than 2 people on that Jenny by the time they get that to about 90% if they have no skill checks, or completed if they get the Jenny done with landing grade skill checks. So that's just because of how slow I am. So what can I do to, you know, get around the board a bit quicker? Well, the answer is I can't. I need to prep. Therefore, there's one perk that sticks out above all else for the Hag based on this factor right now, and that is Corrupt Intervention. Now, keeping in mind, the Hag is very short, so she sees from a lower perspective. She's shorter than the male survivors in the game, therefore it'll look weird when you go to M1 than when you've been playing a Trapper. That also being said, this is going to seal the generators on the 3 furthest points from my location. Unlike a Trapper, I don't need to walk around and grab all my bear traps to prep them. I could just look at the ground and do a prep right there on the ground if I choose to do that. Now, I could run Ruin and Surveillance as a combo on this killer, but I don't want to do that because that's going to be me relying on Ruin. Surveillance means I'm going to have to break generators. It's going to cost time, and as a 110% trap-based killer, I don't have time. If I had more time, then yes, it'd be fine. But I don't. Right now, it's very easy to gen rush a killer. It takes 80 seconds to do a Jenny yourself and 45 with 2 people on a generator. So if we're going to look over here, we got nurses calling. Is it really that important? Do you think if I M1 Jeff, I'm going to chase Jeff based on the fact I'm 110% movement speed, therefore he can utilize a jungle gym against a 110% movement speed killer without a projectile 3 times, and by the time he does that, 15 seconds have passed. Now I've got Bloodlust. Now I'm the equivalent of a trapper, therefore he could keep going around the jungle gym another 2 to 3 times, probably 2, and then he can throw the pallet or he can bait it, and I can lunge through, miss, he can go again, or I can hit him through the pallet and he doesn't even throw the pallet, he runs to another jungle gym. That's a lot of chase. That is a lot of time. What did I just say she didn't have? She didn't have time. So do you think I want to chase after people that are injured, or do you think I want to M1 them and let them go unless they take really bad pathing? You already know the answer. That is correct. I want to let them go. So I'm actually going to delete this perk here right now. Now we've got 3 perks, okay? Monitor and Abuse. Awesome. It's going to reduce my heartbeat. Can be cool on an indoor map when I want to get sneaky and come up behind people. Is it a necessity? It's not. It's very good. It's very helpful and allows you to get the jump on some crazy people. I would recommend Nurses Calling in the higher ranks. If you're rank 15, rank 10, yes. At rank 1, I wouldn't recommend it. We did just have rank reset. As you can see, I've gone back to 5. So we're going to keep Modern Abuse for now in theory crafting. Make your choice. Now this slot has a lot of options. Let's look at them. Make your choice. After somebody's unhooked, I can come back to the hook. Not a bad option. For more consistency on multiple targeting, I could run Haunted Ground. Remember, I've got Corrupt Intervention to funnel them together. Chances of them breaking Haunted Ground against the Hag is pretty high. Her teachable perks by default is Devour Hope and Third Seal, so they could think it's one of these while I have Haunted Ground. So Haunted Ground's not looking bad right now. Or I could take consistency. What is the most consistent perk on this killer? Like I said, what is her biggest issue? Her biggest issue is time. She doesn't have any of it. So this is going to stall. Now what does this do? This stalls people from self-caring for an additional 8 seconds. If they're healing themselves without a teammate, 40 seconds. If they're healing themselves with a teammate, about 24 seconds. If there's multiple teammates, about 16 seconds. So that means they're grouping and healing rather than grouping than doing generators. So that perk right there has done its blessing and stalled. I want to mention one honorable mention here too that I didn't call out. If you're an advanced hag, you will already understand that this could be the best perk. This can be your bread of a hag. It's called Save the Best for Last. What does Save the Best for Last do? Every time you M1 somebody who is not your obsession, you gain a token. You'll do your animation, which is when she brings her hand up for blood after a successful attack, and you recover 5% quicker. Keeping in mind that you have 1 stack. At 2 stacks, you recover as if you had 1 stack. You will always recover at the stack you had prior to gaining a stack. Much like if I have 8 stacks to Save the Best for Last, and I hit the obsession, I will recover from 40% rather than 30%, but my next hit will recover from 30% as opposed to recover from 20%. You always recover at the stack that you have. Therefore, if I have 7 stacks and I just down Jeff, I recovered at 7 stacks, but now I have 8 stacks, therefore I recover at 35%. Good choice. Why is it a good choice? If I just M1 the guy, they get 150% movement speed for 3 seconds. If he triggers another trap and I have more than 4 stacks, I can instantly teleport to the trap and hit him again. It also counters people waiting under the hook as well. It's actually a really powerful combo for the hag. But you want to know something? It is dependent on RNG to a degree that you hope that they don't... You hope that you don't find your obsession a lot, and that your obsession isn't running around setting off your traps, really hurting you, or your obsession doesn't have a flashlight. And 9 out of 10 people will be running DS right now because it's very, very powerful. It's the strongest perk in the game for Survivor. I love this perk, I really do, but for consistency, I could not recommend this to anyone unless you're an experienced veteran advanced hag. So what are we looking at right now? We've got something to stall the game in our favor to stop them from healing. We have something to stall the game out based on the beginning start of the game. We're missing regression. Now I could run Pop Goes the Weasel, I could run Thanatophobia to make the heals go longer, but there's one perk that a lot of people undermine how powerful it is, and I actually, believe it or not, put it as an S tier perk on both the Hag and both the Trapper. Now you guys might look, you might laugh, you might think it's a really bad perk, but listen me out here. It's called Surge. What does Surge do? It's based off a 32 meter tear radius. Therefore, if I have a 16 meter tear radius, it doesn't matter. If I'm Michael Myers in tier 1 with a 0 meter tear radius, doesn't matter. It's always off 32 meters. If I'm a doctor with Distressing and a 40 meter tear radius, doesn't matter. It's always off 32 meters. When I down a survivor, all generators that have been worked on around me within 32 meters instantly start regressing. Now, why is this good? If I'm playing a map like the Swamp, and they're working on one of 3 platform Jennies there could be, and I down them, that generator is now going to explode, lose 8% of what is done. It takes 80 seconds to do a gen. So if it was 10%, it would knock 8 seconds off a nearly completed Jenny. It doesn't knock 8. It knocks about 6.5 seconds off a nearly completed generator. That's a lot of time. It also instantly starts regression, and it has no cap on how many generators it can touch. It can touch 4 Jennies, maybe even 5 generators if you down somebody in the center of the map on the game. It is so crucial for a killer based on time management. Now, this killer is highly about time management. So is the Huntress. However, it wouldn't work that well off a Huntress because it's only off an M1. Therefore, it's good for a Trapper if you M1 someone out of your bear trap. It's good for a Hag if you teleport an M1 down somebody. So now I'm going to get stability and regression on gens. There is an issue though. I don't have surveillance. I don't know if somebody's going to tap that Jenny that I just regressed upstairs to the right-hand side. If I'm listening, I might be able to hear it. So realistically, this perk can be freed up right now, and I could put on surveillance. Not a bad idea. I could put on Discordance to know where multiple targets are. Now I'm going into the chase aspect, and I don't want to chase as this killer. I want to catch and collect. So there's one honorable mention for another perk I want to point out here, and you won't see many people run it. It's not Dark Devotion. It is a little bit of a different perk that not many people run, and you're just going to have to bear with me while I stall real quick to try and find... There it is. It's called Blood Echo. So why would you run Blood Echo? Now let's keep in mind here, multiple targets are going to be injured through Sloppy Butcher. You have everyone hurt. Now if they group heal, you're stalling the game, allowing you to get more prep, better control on the map. It's good. Enduring's not a bad idea rather than Sloppy and walk through every single pallet, but now they can heal at a much faster rate. Corrupted Dimension's going to stall the beginning of the game. Therefore, all these Jetties are going to be sealed. I want to split pressure and targeting on multiple people to get them injured. You know, if Jeff comes in for a body block from Nia because I'm about to catch Nia, that's fine. Take the easy hit on Jeff because now I'm applying Sloppy Butcher. Good play for Jeff, but now I have 2 different targets. If they run over a bear trap, I can teleport to it and get... Not bear trap, sorry. A finger painting, I can teleport to it and I can get them back. Right? Surge is going to give me stability and regression. There's one issue with this build, and that is I have no instant downs. I could easily get rid of Blood Echo for Haunted Ground. Yes, now I have an instant down and consistency to keep targets injured. It's not a bad call. This requires a bit more thinking involved. What does Blood Echo do? When I hook a survivor, any of the teammates that is currently injured will no longer be able to use Dead Hard. They are exhausted for the next 45 seconds. Therefore, if they for whatever reason run to come and save, they can't panic and Dead Hard for a pallet or a window and get away from me. They are exhausted. Do you think an injured survivor who is exhausted with Dead Hard and Borrowed Time wants to come and save a guy from a hook, maybe in the basement against a fucking Hag? You already know the answer's no. This A gives you time to prep the basement or whatever hook you're at if you want to. B, you can get around the board. You could get rid of, Surge for Thrilling Tremor if you wanted to. You could get rid of Sloppy Butcher for Thrilling Tremor. Now you know when you down Jeff, you can pick him up, you can hook him. What generator are people on? I know roughly what direction I have to go. However, my build here on the Hag is about playing to your strengths. Your strengths are keeping multiple targets injured. You might be playing around a 3 or a 4 gen strat. You can't get around the entire board in time. Prepping the jungle gyms correctly. The way you play Hag is a little bit different to the way you play Trapper. Trapper, you can prep in between the loop and outsmart people. It's harder to do that as a Hag. Not impossible, but harder. A lot of Hags will just place at the opposite end of the pallet, and then they'll walk up to the pallet, wait to see if you either throw it or you run through, and then they'll play off that call. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. This is the Hag build that I recommend based off no add-ons versus red rank survivors. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments description below. I do stream DBD 5 days a week. It was a pleasure to have you guys in here, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.